My name is Ryan Teal, and this is the very first interview for a brand new project that I'm doing called, Just Us Awesomer Hairdressers, and it's where, I just chat to everyday hairdressers and we talk about, people's, problems or whatnot, and I just either offer solutions or tell them that they're screwed and they can't really get out of anything. So today, my very first guest, who has reminded me that we had met years ago at the Paul Mitchell School in Costa Mesa, is what was your name that you go by? Raina Riot on Instagram?
Yeah. I've been doing it for like the last 15 years. Okay. So I just kept it.
That's cool. That's cool. I like it. It's a good name. So
Thank you.
You contacted me yesterday after I announced that I was no longer going to be charging for education or coaching or any of that kind of stuff. And you kind of just hit me up and, asked me a few questions, and I asked if you wanted to be on this project, and you said yes, thankfully. Well, tell me your history first. Tell me, what inspired you to get into beauty school in the first place?
This is kind of just always what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? I always wanted to do hair. I remember I was at this really crappy school in Santa Ana. I was at this just really bad high school. Mm-hmm. And that Colleen O'Hara's beauty academy came to our school to show us how they do hair and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I went to the little interview with my friend because she wanted to go, and I was honestly pretty captivated. They had this weaving pattern with was on a doll head, and it was an updo. Okay. Now that I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's pretty simple, but it was incredibly motivating. I didn't go. Fast forward 5 years, I'm in this really terrible relationship. I thought about trying barbering. I got bullied into going to cosmetology school instead because it'd be so terrible. Sure. If I was a barber. And so I started school in Paul Mitchell Sherman Oaks. Okay. And I really liked it.
What have you done since beauty school?
So I finished beauty school. Very next day, I started my first job. I was not licensed yet. Mm. I was assisting a good friend of mine at a salon in Santa Ana. And oh my gosh, my boss was absolutely terrible. She was just, huh?
What was terrible? What did she do?
She didn't really trust me to do anything. Uh-huh. If I was gonna do a color, I could rock out a balayage in those days, like nothing. I did one on a client, and then my boss got mad because she thought that I toned it too light, because the woman had dark hair, and I toned it at an 8 because she just wanted it real bright. She liked how light it was. Mm-hmm. So I toned it real light. I think I used a 9V or something, My boss thought I should tone it to a 5. Okay. That was just done. I was not trusted with color. Okay. Or anything like that. There was one, I think it was my second Saturday there. The salon was popping. She gave my station up, so I had to share it with another girl. So there was one chair shared between the two of us. We were both supposed to be there that day. That girl's working on walk-ins all day, super busy, making money. I'm stuck in the stock room doing inventory on color. Mm-hmm. And I made no money because I was a commission employee. And then I quit the next day. It was my first job, and it was horrible.
So you left that school, you left that salon. Where did you go after that?
I went to barber school. Okay. I did a crossover program. Right afterwards, I started my first job in Fullerton. It went pretty well. It was an apprenticeship. I stayed there for a few months, and then I left for a barber shop that was closer to my house, where I actually kind of did both. Mm-hmm. And then I pretty much just stuck around there for a month or two until we ended up moving out of state.
Okay. So fast forward to like what's going on now. What are you doing now?
So about a year ago, I kind of had this epiphany moment where I really just wanted to do women's hair.
Okay.
I ended up sticking with barbering for a couple of years, like just so that I could really like get a feel for it. If it wasn't for a friend of mine named Isla, I just I wouldn't be the barber that I am today.
Okay.
But I also had that moment with that same friend Isla where it was one day at the shop, we had just closed. I was cutting her hair, and then just the look and like the smile on her face after like getting a haircut and just feeling really good about herself
Hmm.
just kind of brought it all back. And then a year later, I left the barber shop I was working at because that wasn't going very well either. And I went to a salon by my house and I started working there. Um, I had a really bad moment with one of one of my clients, and my boss actually fired me after working there for like 6 weeks. And now I work at a Fantastic Sam's, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with my life, man.
That's better. So you're at Fantastic Sam's, and you're unhappy there, which you could. I mean, you could probably find happiness there anyways, because I mean, it's not necessarily Fantastic Sam's. There's something else that may be happening. Is that correct? Or
Um,
Fantastic Sam's? Or like, what is it that
I'm
is
sorry.
making you unhappy? What is it that's
Um,
making you sorry?
well, I work at Fantastic Sam's. That would be.
Okay, and what is it? What is it about Fantastic Sam's?
I don't know. I've worked at all the corporate places. When I moved out to Arizona, we weren't supposed to be out here for more than a year.
Hmm.
So when I went looking for a job, I just went to one of like the corporate salons
Sure.
because I was like, oh, it's just a year. I'll get paid hourly. We'll bounce out and I'll go back to my like normal career goals.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it ended up going very badly and not being that way. And so I've worked at Great Clips, I've worked at Supercuts, I've worked at Floyd's. Now I'm at Fantastic Sam's, and to be honest, they all really suck.
Hmm. The corporate
It's
structure maybe is what's getting to you as well.
I really think that I think that's probably what it is.
Mhm.
Also, I feel like a big part of it is like the clientele. Like, obviously the clientele that walks into a Great Clips, that walks into a Supercuts, that walks into a Fantastic Sam's is all like very different, but they all kind of have this like same mindset about their hair and about like just about themselves than you would get in a typical like salon or barbershop. It's very different.
Okay. So what are your goals? Where do you see yourself in like, you know, 2, 5, 10 years?
Mm, I was actually kind of hoping we could talk about that because I have a 5-year plan.
Okay, good.
I want to own a salon.
Okay. Why?
Um, I'm sick of working for other people,
So you want
and
to be
I
an entrepreneur.
and I'd like to offer other cosmetologists the opportunities that I wish I had.
Okay. Okay. Now, you're wanting to own a salon and offer employees essentially opportunities is
Yeah.
okay. Where are you wanting to do that? Are you wanting to stay? Are you going to stay in Phoenix or Arizona where you're at? Are you going to move it back to California? Or
I figured just stay in Arizona. I don't think I could afford to move home to California.
sure,
And then also, I'm pretty sure 10 years from now, this is going to be California, like junior,
sure.
like kind of how what happened with Portland.
Hmm. Hmm. And where are
So
you at? Where are you
I'm
at
gonna
in
start.
where are you at in Arizona?
I'm in Surprise. We're stuck out here for another year. I'm
Hmm.
at the Fantastic Sam's. So a big part of this is everybody kind of just like relies on me, like my family. Like I'm the only one in the house that's able to work
Okay.
because my husband's disabled.
Okay.
And so I was thinking, I'm stuck out here for a year. I do the Fantastic Sands thing. They're supposed to have education. It's not like 100% guaranteed,
Hmm.
but I'm hoping to take like a class, like a color class, like every month or something.
Okay. Do something.
Find a job, and
Hmm.
then move us down to like Tempe Mesa
Okay.
area next year.
Okay. And are wanting to open a business in 10 years? What is it about the salon environment that you think that you would want to be an owner? Like, why are you wanting to be a salon owner as opposed to just, maybe running your own business either out of like a studio or whatnot? Like, what is it that is inspiring you that, God, I really want to be a salon
I saw from that first job that I had coming out of cosmetology school,
owner?
I made good friends with a girl who was a barber and a cosmetologist.
Hmm.
And she actually, a year and a half ago, just opened up her own barbershop in Huntington Beach.
Okay.
And she looks really happy about it. I got to go visit about a year ago. I got to see the barbershop and everything else. It looked like it was great.
Okay.
I mean, I know it was hard work, obviously. Like I've heard her talk about how much hard work it is. It's like a bunch of times, but it seems super worth it.
Okay. Have you thought about doing studio type stuff, like suites?
That's actually part of it.
Okay.
Okay, so I was thinking I stick out here for like till around the end of the year, like September, October, like somewhere right there. And then I go move my jobs over to the area I'm trying to live in. Move to that area right after. And then my fiance should be getting disability by then, so I won't have to work two jobs.
Hmm.
And then I can kind of go do my own career thing. I wanted to work at like, I guess it ended up being like another corporate salon for like a year or whatever.
Hmm.
Definitely not Fantastic Sam's. I was thinking like Bishop's.
Sure.
Bishop's would be cool.
Hmm. It is.
And then move my clientele into a suite, stay there for 2 to 3 years, maybe 1 to 2 years, and then look for a location that'd be good for a salon.
And so the only reason I keep asking about the salon and becoming an entrepreneur, I think that um, becoming an entrepreneur isn't bad. I highly recommend doing it if that is inside you at all, being an entrepreneur. The reason why is nobody can fire you, when you're an entrepreneur, and I feel like having that little bit of security is nice. On the other hand, when you are an employee of somebody, all of the responsibility is on your shoulders. Meaning, if you fuck up, and you're the only person to blame for that. I love the fact that, so if you look at these corporate jobs that you have right now, don't look at that as a negative. That's not a negative. That's a positive. Just think of it as a means to an end. I mean, it's not that you want to have your whole career there forever. And you've even mentioned that you want to go work at probably another corporate job when you move to Tempe or whatnot, and stay there for a year, build a clientele, and then move. I think that's a great idea. I think you're definitely on the right track, and I love the idea of you moving into a studio. I look at studios nowadays as being um, the food trucks of the hair industry. Where people might start a food truck, build a clientele off that food truck, and then they go from the food truck into the brick and mortar type building. I think that's a great idea. Um, One thing I'm afraid of though is that I think that getting into the food truck essentially is an amazing idea for many hairdressers, especially for somebody in your position. But what I'm afraid of is hairdressers opening salons for ego. and not that I think that you have ego, it's just like you think that maybe, you know, if I do that, that'll give me some clout, or if I do that, I can do something. And really what happens is you just start, like, you know, you said that you want to give other hairdressers opportunities, but you start getting just people, they tie your hands, so you can't offer them opportunities. They don't want opportunities. Then you get pissed and frustrated. You don't even want to be in that business anymore. You know, so really, I mean, if you think about it, and again, this is just a thought, is why not just, you know, start your own business? You could even, hell, you could even go into like a lease type situation after you've moved to Tempe or wherever you're wanting to move to. Go into a lease situation and look at it as your own business. You know what I'm saying? You know, like a booth renter type situation, or even if you did a commission situation, you can almost pretend like it's like you're an entrepreneur anyway. So even if you go back, like today, you know, when you go to work tomorrow afternoon or when you go to work next, you can still look at it like it's your own business, because it is. And you can start your business right now in your head, you know, and the fact that you want to get education, that shows me that you're already doing that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So I'm not a complete failure and I didn't let you down?
No, not at all. I actually think that you're doing, you know, I mean, it's when you're in it, it sucks. But when you look back on it, it's just this much time. Does that make sense? I mean, in
Yeah.
the overall scheme of things, you know, you only have, you know, you're only spending this much in corporate salons. Let me put it this way. And it kind of like, you know, breaks my heart that you think that, you know, you had let somebody down. I've had massive success in this industry. I've owned a chain of salons. I've owned a school. I currently own a salon with my ex-wife up in Portland, Oregon. I mean, you know, so there's all of this. But I haven't worked behind the chair in about 4 years, and last year I taught over 700 classes. You know, full-time education. I was living my dream. January 2nd of this year, I got laid off. And so I don't have a license in Kentucky where I live now. So I'm not working behind the chair anymore. I actually am a bartender at a bowling alley. You know, I do this full time, and I work, you know, on like hair shows, like I'm doing the New York hair show this coming weekend, but I'm not even behind the chair anymore. So, I mean, if you think about it, when you're in it, it sucks. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that crazy? I mean, like I'm a bartender, you know, out of anything. And so at least you're still in the industry. At least you're still hustling within the industry, you
Well,
know?
you're still in the industry too. You're literally doing a hair show.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But you're working still in the
I
industry.
give my foot to do that hair show. I don't even know what it's about, but like
um, you know, and so don't think that you let anybody down. In fact, if I looking at you right now, I think it's actually a really noble thing that you're doing that you're sucking up your pride and you went to work at multiple corporate locations, you know, just to put food on the table and to you know, give you a means to where, you know, at someday you can have your own business. So I think it's a really good thing, and don't get down about that. I think that's a horrible thing to be down about. You know, it's hustling, and what's going to happen is you know, they always say that whatever doesn't kill us makes us stronger. You know, how strong are you going to be when you are finally out of the position that you dislike, you know, and you are able to, you know, have your own business, be it in a studio or even opening a salon in the future, because at that point you will know exactly what you can and cannot or do not want to happen. Does that make sense?
yeah,
So yeah, that's my whole thought on it. And you know, I mean, I wouldn't get down. I know you probably are down on yourself. I get
a
that.
little bit.
Yeah. You know, and the fact that they offer education, I mean, that's a really good idea as well. You know, I used to tell people, you know, when you know, you move into a new community, definitely go start at a corporate salon. I think and Fantastic Sam's is, I mean, it's a legit company. I mean, you're not working at like, you know, Sweaty Betty's Hair Shack that is only open Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 9, you know? You know, so I mean, it could be a lot worse. And the fact that, you know, you are getting paid, you know, and your paychecks don't bounce, you know, and you're, you know, so I mean, it's actually like a good thing as opposed to a bad thing.
Okay.
So what else are
I
you?
have another more like doing hair question for
Okay,
you.
good, good.
What do I do when I'm in the position where I just want to say no to my client? And I can bring up my very recent thing that it actually ended up costing me my job. I had a woman called into the salon and made an appointment. She wanted a makeover, and that was basically all she could really give. She had no idea what she wanted to do. So they just booked me out for the day. And you know, obviously that's fine. You can book me out for the day. Like it's okay. I get to go home early if I'm finished early.
Sure, yeah.
So she sits down. It's actually, if you look at my Instagram, that last one that I posted, the blonde, the highlight and low light. So she came in with that as the before, and she's going, I want to do something different. Oh, sorry. Right before she came in, I told my boss, hey, my makeover's coming in an hour. I just want to let you know that this is going to go either very, very well or it's going to go very badly. So she sits down in my chair and I say, what do you want to do? Like, what's your inspiration for your hair today? Yes, that one.
Okay.
And she says, I want you to make my husband love me again. Yes,
Oh, wow.
that.
Okay, yeah. That's a tough one.
And I said, like, okay, well, nothing I do I can't really affect people I've never met, but let's work on making you love yourself. Hold on, give me just a second. I just have to go to the bathroom really quick. And then I ran to the break room and I told my boss, I can't do this. Like, this is not going to work. Like, it doesn't matter what I do. She's going to come back and she's not going to like it. Because I can't fix your relationship with a color service. My boss says, just do your best. It's fine. Get on out there. You got this. And I was like, okay, confidence of a mouse here. Like, let's knock out this. She just wants to be blonde again. You know, we talked through every other color option she could possibly do. She wanted to do the same old thing. I'm like, all right, let's do it. We decided on like a beachy blonde. So I did a highlight, low light through her hair, and I toned it and threw a little shadow root on it. It was cute, and she cried. She was so happy.
Good.
We fixed the price because it was originally going to be like $350 for all the services because I was not letting her leave without Olaplex. You can see in the original, her ends were trash.
Yeah.
We brought it down. I want to say we brought it down to like $220 or something like that. And she walked out the door. She was super happy. Salon closed an hour late. And she came back the next day. It was not bright enough. She was actually, my heart goes out to this woman because she's in a horribly abusive relationship. There's nothing, it's past gone. That's it. That's from the 7 hours I spent with her, what I learned. He says it just looks very dark. So we got to redo it. So I went through, put in a partial. So just a whole extra layer of blonde. That's not of that picture. I didn't even bother taking a picture at that point because I knew she was going to come back again. And I told my boss about it. I told her, like, there's nothing, like, I just did a partial for free. You know what I mean? I spent like 3 hours on it. And I told her, I was like, I don't know what you want me to do here. I told you this is not going to go well. And she ended up coming back again a couple days later, crying. She was so embarrassed to start her new job with her hair looking like that. And her husband absolutely hated it. She ended up getting refunded like almost $300 or whatever. And I ended up losing my job because of it. And I feel like this whole time, like, I wanted to say no to this, like, from the get-go before I even touched her hair. And just how how do I do that? Because, I mean, at least I think I tried. I probably did not try hard enough.
And you said that your boss was essentially forcing you to do it.
I felt a little forced. Honestly, at that job, I think maybe it wasn't. I was happy there, but I think maybe it wasn't the right job for me because I felt like I was in a position a lot of the time where someone was telling me to do something like this when I wanted to do it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the this ended up being the wrong thing to do. So I'm not saying I'm like amazing or anything like that because I was probably wrong too, but we were both wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I did not want to do that woman's hair.
Okay, so my thought on that is it's always hard. It's always hard to say no anyways. I was always bad at saying no at, you know, when I was behind the chair. I would just go ahead and do it, just get it over with. The problem though is that, you know, clients, Beth Minardi always says that it's all fun and games until you get a freak. Some clients are just,
You know what?
it's all fun and games until you get a freak in your chair.
Yeah.
You know, and some clients are just freaks. And it sounds like, you know, you were right that you wanted to try and get her to love herself again, because that's more important than having her abusive husband, you know, love her, that she needs to actually get out of that relationship. And she will probably never find happiness until she does something like that for herself. So that has nothing to do with you in any way.
Am I a bad person for not wanting her to ever find happiness?
No, I don't think that's bad, especially after having to lose your job. You know, I mean, I wish ill-willed on a lot of people, especially in that kind of situation.
I don't wish ill will on anyone. I just definitely don't wish goodwill on anyone. That's the way to look at it.
Well, I think that in that situation, she might have had a bad service before she even got to the salon. It had nothing to do with you. Looking at the before and after, and you know, it's a really nice looking before and after. I didn't really, to be honest, I didn't look at your Instagram before because I didn't think we were going to be talking about Instagram. So it was nice for you to tell me where it was so I could go look at it. It was really done quite nice, and it was probably something that you know, Deanna and my ex-wife probably would have taken them to that step as well. So that's definitely shows a mature colorist.
No, I don't want you to think I did that by myself. I did the technical part of that. Someone else told me to do the highlight, low light, and to do slice, weave, slice, low light.
Perfect.
And then they gave me the toner.
Okay.
Like,
and see,
I didn't.
You came up with the idea of essentially balayaging it correct, right? And having that shadow root, right? That was your idea.
Did I what?
Did you come up with the idea of having that shadow root with the lighter ends?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shadow roots are cute. Everybody needs one.
Yeah, in reality, well, you know, everybody needs one, you know, until they don't. But in reality, if you would have taken her all platinum, that would have been even worse, you know, or like, you know, like how when she came back and she made you do it even brighter, you know, the fact that you went the step before going to the brighter, to me, shows that you made a good choice. So really, the service wasn't bad. You didn't do a bad service, any of that kind of stuff. I feel like it probably would have been fucked up no matter what. Like,
thank you.
Yeah, like yeah. And you will beat yourself up until you stop. You know what I'm saying?
I won't stop.
Exactly. I still beat myself up, right? I still, like, I'll do a model, or I'll do a haircut, or I'll be on stage and teach a class, and somebody can say one thing and it will fuck me up for weeks. Somebody will say that they don't like me. Somebody will tell me, hey, so-and-so doesn't like you, and I'll go into a depression for weeks, right? And everybody's like, oh, you shouldn't care about what other people think about you. That's what we do as hairdressers, though, is care about what other people think about us. You know, and the people that say, no, I don't care about what other people think, are the ones who care more.
I'm the second one. I say that I don't care, but I definitely care right now, as you know from the conversation we had before even going on this video.
Yeah. Yes. So I think it's okay to beat yourself up about it a little bit. I think it's okay to live with that a little bit. Well, let me rephrase that. It's not okay to live there. It's okay to visit.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's okay to go there and be bummed out for a minute.
I've actually heard that being bummed out about it and going to visit is a good thing because it shows that you've grown as a person.
Yes, correct. And the more it happens, the less it hurts. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? So it's actually okay. And the next time it happens, it's gonna happen a lot. It's gonna hurt a lot less than this time did. Because I know exactly how you were feeling. I know that like the day she came back the next day, and you're just like, oh shit, what did I do wrong? Oh my
No,
God.
I in my head I was like, seriously, this bitch?
Yes. That's another feeling that you go through, and then you have that all the it's like dealing with death. What we should do is we should come up with a whole thing of like, where when you know that you're going to die, so you have that whole like I don't believe it, and then you have what is it called, the refusal to believe.
7 steps of grieving.
Yes, that. So it's the 7 steps of dealing with crazy freaking clients. I mean, there should be a whole step by step on dealing with crazy freaking clients.
Okay, I'll start working on that. I'll text you when
Sure.
I've got it part of the way up for your notes.
So what else do you have? I mean, and did that help?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, good.
I think it did.
Good. Just like I said, it had nothing to do with you. It was all her. And really you just deal with it, And then,
Okay.
the how to say no, that's always going to be hard. It's always going to be hard to say no. My whole thing is make sure that you are, that you really communicate with that client, like, and say, hey, you know what, if we do this, this is going to happen, and I'm not going to be able to do your hair a second time. And I mean, this has to happen this way, or that happens to happen that way. I mean, communication is very, very, very key. And the fact that she didn't know anything that she wanted, that was a huge red flag.
She knew what she wanted. She just made me work my way there.
Yeah. And she finally got it, what, 3 weeks later? And for free.
Yeah, I think she's not. I still don't think she's happy with that outcome that she had for her hair. I'm pretty sure that she goes home every day for her husband to tell her like some crap about how she looks like she has brown hair or something, and then she cries.
Yeah.
I don't know. She looks great. She can suck it.
Yeah. I mean, that photo that's on your Instagram looked fantastic. So
Thank you.
I think that you did a great job, and I think that the red flags were there. Especially that she didn't know what she wanted. She wanted a makeover, but she didn't know what she wanted, or she didn't want to communicate to you what she wanted.
Yeah.
So that's my whole thing. What else do you have?
What do you think about maybe me getting my license to be an educator and having that be my part-time job or my second job?
Well, you don't need. Oh, you mean the educator as a like a beauty school, or educator as like a educator for a company?
Like at a beauty school.
Okay, I think that's great. How long have you been doing hair again?
I've been licensed for 6 years, but I've spent most of my time in a barbershop.
Okay.
So I'd probably be the men's cutting specialist.
I think that it's a brilliant idea for you. I think that everyone should spend time in beauty schools. So I think everybody who wants to be a better hairdresser should put in at least a year at a beauty school. When I owned my beauty school, I was the entry level beauty school student. I was like level 1 or core teacher. you know, I went from you know, being behind the chair full time to being a core teacher at a beauty school because I really wanted, you know, to hone my own craft, you know, and
Yeah.
one of my old mentors, you know, the Suzanne Chadwick used to say, you know, a candle never loses any of its intensity when it's used to light another candle. It actually just gets brighter for a second. So when you give away your training and you help somebody else to light their training, it's going to make you all the more brighter. You know, and what happens that way too is that when, you know, these stupid beauty school students start chattering and they're like, well, I don't like to do it that way, and they force you into learning how to speak your craft, that's going to make you 1,000 times better as well. You know,
Okay.
even if you're just there for a year, when you get out of that tour of duty at the beauty school, you will be 1,000 times better than you are right
Sweet.
now. Yeah.
I was like 50-50 on either this is going to be a great idea and I'm going to come out like so much better, or I'm probably going to ruin like 500 poor girls that just want to be good at hair.
You know, the thing about it too is that, you know, and you'll notice it when you go to beauty school, is that you'll notice that like every single beauty school student goes through the same trajectory. Like they're all super happy to be at beauty school. They're loving it, blah, 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 blah. Then they want to get out. They want to like hurry the F out to get out of here. And then they are super excited. And then they need to get out right now. They start taking time off and then they graduate. You know, and it's really funny because everybody goes to the exact same trajectory. They don't.
I did that.
Oh, totally.
I did that. I started at Paul Mitchell Sherman Oaks.
Mhm.
I went there. I finished up like right about halfway through. I moved back to Orange County. I think it took me like 2 months to like get started back at beauty school. I was waiting on them. But yeah, I took a vacation
Yeah.
and then I went back.
And then you get the short timer's disease. I mean, like there's so many, and it's funny because like when I used to open a brand new class, I'm like, listen, you're not God's special little snowflake, and your parents lied to you. You know, I mean, every single person
Yeah.
that goes to school is going to go through the exact same emotional crisis that you're going to go through while you're here. You're all
Yeah.
going to cry. You're all going to like need to get out, make some money, and blah 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 blah. You know, and all of your parents told you that you'd be great at whatever you try to do, but in reality, you might not be great at being a hairdresser. You might be a horrible, you know, screw up for going, you know.
Don't tell me that. I'm scared now.
But
They
no,
told us
you're in it.
school
And
though.
you said you're here you've been in it for 6 years, right?
Yeah, they told us that only 20% of us would make it to 10, and like I'm tooth and nail like holding on to be that 20.
Well, I always say that the hairdressing industry is interesting because this is the only industry that allows you to believe that you chose to become a hairdresser. You didn't choose to become a hairdresser. You chose to go to beauty school. Once you get out, hairdressing will choose you if you are worth it or not. And the fact that you've been here for going on 10 years, you know, 6 years essentially, but going on 10 years, you were chosen because most beauty school students drop out of the industry within 3.
Oh, I feel so much better.
Oh, totally. And I will also tell you that you need to change something in your career every 7 years. You know, that's
Okay.
very important. And so right now you might be sitting on the cusp of being like, hey, you know what? I don't really want to be a salon owner. I don't really want to do any of that kind of stuff.
Oh
Maybe
no, I
I'm an
just made
educator.
that decision like 2 weeks ago.
Maybe becoming an
Before that, I did not.
yeah. So you know what that is telling me is that's telling me that you are looking for that change now.
Okay.
So, and that change might be what you are talking about right now, which is becoming a men's cutting specialist at a beauty school.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Fantastic. I think that you know, I just have changed your career.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I definitely feel a lot better.
Good.
Okay, so like yesterday, like all last week, I was basically having this like whole like pity party existential crisis thing, like about to have a breakdown, whole crap going on, and I was just like had this moment in myself where I was talking to my friend who's about to start cosmetology school in Texas, and then I was talking to her about like all the questions that she should ask the school and everything that she needs to know before she picks a school, because I don't want her to pick a bad school. It's my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And like right after talking to her, I had this like weird like epiphany about like a 5-year plan. Like I need to just like set myself up to have a passive income so that I can work 2 days a week with full books and like take vacations.
Mm-hmm. And that's part of
And
the hairdresser.
yeah, and then I was freaking out about how am I even going to make that happen? And then you posted that thing on Instagram, and my phone just happened to refresh, and it was that post, and I was like, here's my spot. Last time I talked to him, everything went so good. I felt great. Like, let's do this.
Good.
And we can do it for free. And
Yeah.
then you were like, podcast. And I was like, if it's the price I pay, it's the price I pay.
I think you're in a good spot. I know that sometimes when we feel down, or like, you know, the fact that you're at, you know, you're at a corporate location, you don't really necessarily want to be there. I mean, all that kind of stuff. When we hit those low spots in our life, if we stop trying to hold on to the high spot that was just before that, we'll bounce back a lot quicker. Because a lot of times what happens is it's kind of like the fat kid on the hot slide in the park, right? Like how they don't really want to go down the slide, so they hold on and they're screeching the entire way down. If they just let go, it's a lot of fun, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times that's what happens when we start falling, because our whole life is done like this. You know, you have really extreme highs and really extreme lows. If you just don't fight the low, you'll bounce up a lot quicker, right? And learn to enjoy that low. You know, so like, you know, I know that you were feeling like a little bit of a low type situation. You know, you even said you're going through the existential crisis. Well, you know, maybe don't worry about it so much. Just go ahead and let go and go for that free fall for a little bit, because, you know, now you actually may start an entire new occupation as a beauty school instructor. And I think that's great.
I was thinking doing like half and half, like
Yeah.
like spending like 30 hours a week in the beauty school, then like 30 in the salon.
Yeah. And what that can do as well for you is that might actually afford you the ability to open a studio as opposed to working for somebody. And that way you can actually be an entrepreneur, which I think you kind of want to do as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I say we pack it up, pack it in. I think
I have one more.
Okay,
I have two more questions.
Okay,
They're
cool.
both stupid questions, but
Okay,
they'll be quick.
Okay.
What consistency do you like your lightener mixed at?
I don't do color. Deanna does color, but I can't answer that for you. She'd always say is mix it to taste, to where it tastes good.
What's her taste?
She likes it creamy,
Okay.
almost like whipped cream, like a Cool Whip.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm a Cool Whip kind of person, and I keep getting told that I'm wrong.
No,
Second question.
I think it's what you like as opposed to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second question. Do you think it'd be cooler if my future set of tools was all in rose gold or all in regular gold?
Are you thinking scissors and stuff?
Yeah, like scissors, clippers, blow dryer. Fuck it, let's do the hot tools too.
Oh, I like rose gold, but I think gold, you're probably going to be able to find some good scissor companies that have gold.
Mm-hmm.
For example, Mizutani can gold plate anything for you. Some other companies, you know, I would probably go with gold, because it'll probably be easier to find.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw those Babyless rose gold clippers, and I'm about it.
I think I have a pair of those downstairs. Yeah, but I think gold would probably be the easiest, and so I'd probably go in that direction. And you know, I know that you know, some of the scissors, like I know that Mizutani, because I just got done working with them.
Did you switch gears then? Because I think last time you used Hanzo, right? But you use Mizutani's now?
Yeah.
Okay. What was the reason for your change? Because I'm a sheer person.
Mm-hmm.
I have a set of Hanzos. I think I want to say that day I got done buying the rest of my set.
I So I've always loved Mizutanis. Mizutani is, so the way the scissors ranking in my own head, number one is always going to be Mizutani.
Okay.
And everybody will say that as well. Mizutani is number one. And the reason why is it's a handmade, and this isn't a Mizutani commercial, obviously, because I don't work for the company. It's the last handmade Japanese scissor. Right?
Okay.
So like when the little Japanese kids get done making our cell phones, at night they come and pound the steel for Mizutani. I'm kidding.
Okay.
What else are they going to do? So you have Mizutani, and then you have BMAC, which is just under that, still a great scissor company. You then have your Nicks, your Wings, your Cashos, as well as Hanzo. So you have Mizutani, BMAC, and then everybody else.
Gotcha. Wait, no, you forgot the fourth tier is all the ones that you can just buy at the store.
Yeah, Olivia Gardens and all that. And there's nothing wrong with those either. I think that there's definitely a need for those scissors.
Gotta replace them a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, I still like Hanzo. I have a lot of friends that still work, for Hanzo. It is what it is, and they have revolutionized the industry. They took something that nobody paid any attention to and made it sexy. Because before Hanzo, scissors weren't sexy. Now scissors are sexy because they and it's not the scissors so much as they hire pretty people. They do free classes. They go to hair shows and they're a mess and they serve you booze and all that kind of stuff. And they did it really to make a dead tool sexy. You know who also does that? Framar.
Okay. Yeah.
They took the most boring thing to talk about, hair color tools, and made them sexy.
But they have that paintbrush though, and I used it on a balayage that I did like 2 days ago for the first time, and it was just life-changing. And it's like just that little freaking paintbrush, and it's amazing. And I kind of want to steal them from Fantastic Sam's when I leave.
And the pretty foils and the pretty gloves and all that kind of stuff. I
haven't seen those.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna have to look at those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was wonderful talking to you. What is so I have your email, not your email, your Instagram. I'll put it up on here at the end so people can follow you if they see you.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love getting, what's it called, organic followers.
Good. Yeah, me too. I definitely don't like buying them.
I've never paid for them. I heard it's expensive.
Well, it's not really. It's cheap.
But...
Oh. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me. I hope you had a good time. I really did. Please keep in touch. If you ever have any other questions, you're more than welcome. We'll do this again.
So I can just bug you sometimes?
As much as you want. That's why I'm here, is to help out.
Okay. And we'll have to do a follow-up.
I would love to.